American fighters, when it comes down to fight, they don't have that much dog in them. They talk great. Gerald Anderson, great athlete. When I heard he was fighting a Bacoli, I was like, why would he do that? What you don't realize about Bacoli is an African warrior. And Bacoli don't fight for himself. He fights for his country. You know, when you fight somebody who fights for his country, you are in trouble.
And those are the words of Derek War Chisora stating that American fighters don't have much dog in them. Okay. And let me counterpunch. What? Listen, speaking of and only of Jared Anderson, okay? Jared Anderson was athletic. Sure, I agree with that. He was young. He was green. He was challenging. However, he just was no match for Martin Bacoli. I don't know what Derek Chisora defines much dog versus, not having much dog versus having much dog. Because I think that Jared Anderson showed a lot of dog in that fight. You know what I mean? Dog in a fight means what you're willing to put up with, what you're willing to take, what you're willing to endure. That's the dog. Like you have the dog in you, and a lot of that comes with the whole fact that he couldn't land a lot of shots on Martin Bacoli. But it's hard to land shots on someone that's constantly putting shots on you, especially when you're trying to get out of the way of the punches, but what you're trying to do is not working because where you go, that's where his fists are landing and meeting his face. When he tried to slip and dip, there was an uppercut. When he tried to go this way, there was another uppercut. So I don't really see what he's saying. Well, he doesn't have much dog in him. I'm like, okay, well, American fighters, to say abroad American fighters, this guy went down multiple times. So I don't see what he means by that. Now, if Jared would have went out there and went down in the first round, at the end of the first round, like he did, and the second he would have got destroyed, I would have agreed with that, especially with that particular fighter. But just to say American fighters don't have dog in them, I have a problem with, because I have a problem if it was just people saying, well, British fighters don't have this, or British fighters don't really have that. You go abroad about that subject. That's a bit much, I feel. That's a bit much. I think that was harsh. I think that was overshot, for him saying that, and him only talking about Jared Anderson. Jared Anderson does not represent all of American fighters, okay? And now, if we're just talking about heavyweight American fighters, that's a totally different thing too. Let's look at guys like who's still here. Okay, Frank Sanchez, he's Cuban. Jermaine Franklin, I think Jermaine Franklin has a lot of dog in him. He has more dog in him than he does athleticism and talent. But come on, who else is here though? Who else is over here? Who else is here? There's not a lot of guys here, but you're talking about American fighters overall that has dog in them. Listen, those statements are bold. I understand that Martin Bacoli does fight for more than himself. He does fight for his country, just like Alexander Usyk does. Why do you think they fight so hard? Because they have another reason to be fighting besides their own ego. I get that. But just to say, oh, well, hey, they don't have a lot of dog in them. I'm going to tell you, the American fighters don't. Like what? And Anderson thought that he could beat Martin Bacoli, So that's what he thought until he got his ass in there and found out real fast, didn't he, that he could not. But he tried, So I just think, what limits the amount of dogs in them? I'm going to leave a poll. You guys tell me what you think of Derek Chisora's comments on American fighters don't have much dog in them. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunched.